Hey everyone, what's going on? Matt here, talking to you guys today about self-awareness. I'm gonna try to make this video a little bit shorter than the last one and looking forward to it, so let's get started. So self-awareness to me is just the ability to see yourself as clearly and as objectively as you can. And this can happen through reflection and introspection and just finding out who you are, what values, what standards are most important to you, and then being able to align yourself with those ideas, with those ideals, and just going forward. Also, being able to communicate that effectively with others so that they are receiving you in that same way as well. And I think self-awareness is so important because it allows us to take a step back, to view ourselves, our behaviors, our feelings, our thoughts, and to really ask ourselves, okay, is that aligned with the inner standards that we have for ourselves, where we want to be, and with the values that we hold, and kind of find out where we are right now with that, and then where we would like to ultimately be. It also just allows us to interact effectively with the world, because it allows us to see how we are coming off to other people and kind of clear that path a little bit better for our next interactions and the next relationships and conversations that we have. So there's many different ways to cultivate our own self-awareness. I encourage you to look up and find what works best for you. I came up with three just to share, and the first one is going to be intentionally creating time and space for yourself to just become more in touch with who you are and what you stand for. Whether that's practicing mindfulness, whether that's journaling, whether that's kind of just being alone in silence for a little bit, just can be very helpful for kind of getting in tune with who you are. This is a great time to kind of question things, ask yourself those questions, and those tough questions at times. What are the things that are important to you? What are the things that make you feel lousy, and how can you stay away from those things? And then what are the things that make you feel strong and confident and positive, and how can you surround yourself with those things in your life? And so, yeah, just asking ourselves these allows us to be a little bit more in touch, act a little bit more intentional, and align ourselves with those things that are important and our inner standards. The second thing is just going to be expanding our emotional words, our emotional vocabulary, so that we can better pinpoint exactly what we're feeling and going through and where we're at in our lives. We as human beings are incredibly complex, complicated creatures and feel a whole range of different emotions, and it's hard to just limit it to a few basic things. Also, if we can't explain or point at or label exactly what we're feeling, it can seem like this huge obstacle that can't be overcome and that can't be understood. So there's a lot of power in being able to label and point, hey, this is exactly what I'm feeling right now, and it's a real thing, and it's okay to feel those things. We're not just happy, but we might be relieved or thankful. We're not just mad, it could be frustrated, it could be a feeling of insulted, and not just sad either, but maybe it's guilty or ashamed or some feeling of loss. But being able to label it and point at it makes it seem more real, more that we can control it, something that we're in charge of, but also helps us to communicate that with others and then allow them to see us for what we really are in that moment as well. And then the final way that I'm going to share with you today about building up your own self-awareness is asking for feedback and trying to get that critique from others from a different perspective and opinion, and someone that can see it from the outside. From our opinion, we only can see it one way, and sometimes getting that extra feedback can be super helpful. And so find someone you trust, a family member, a friend, anyone that can act as your loving critic in that moment, and someone that can offer you the truth with the ultimate purpose of building you up. And this is super helpful. We can see where we're excelling at. We can see different things that we need to work on. If you're someone who sees yourself in a more positive light, at a lot of times this can make us happy, but sometimes it's not exactly what other people are seeing, and so getting that feedback from them can help us know what we need to improve on and where we need to head in that direction. There's also many times where we are our own biggest critic, where we're our own biggest enemy, and we talk ourselves down and we mentally get in our own heads. And it can be very helpful to have that other perspective and opinion and someone to tell us things aren't that bad. Look at all the good things you're doing. Look at the things that you've done in this point and who you are as a person, and kind of remind you of the good as well. It's never as good as we think, and it's never as bad as we think. And so having that feedback and welcoming that information can be super helpful in just becoming more self-aware. So all of us are in a constant process of creating ourselves, of finding who we want to be, and of trying to align ourselves as best we can by our behaviors, our thoughts, our feelings, and act as best we can in that way. And so hopefully some of these strategies to allow us to see ourselves objectively and become self-aware can be pretty helpful for all of you. As I said, yeah, there's lots of different strategies out there, so continue to look for those. I hope you got a little something out of this. Thank you so much for listening, and cheers.